to our worksheet and try a couple of those. All right, so again, on this sheet, on the formula sheet, you're going to find that on the left side here. Okay, coordinate geometry. So let's go back to this worksheet. This is the one we were working on with the graphs on the first page. Here's the second page. So go ahead and try numbers 9 and 10. Pause your screen and then come back and we will go through them. All right, everybody. Hopefully you're back. And we're going to look at these first two problems on that worksheet, on the second page anyway. We have points 8, 10, this is one coordinate, and -7, 14. And so we're asked to find the slope of that line. And when we do that, we refer to our formula sheet and find where it says slope. And this is the part of the equation that we're worried about. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we basically just substitute our numbers into that formula. So y2, the second y, xy, xy. The second y is 14 minus the first y, 10, over the second x minus the first x. Okay, so your first step, put them into the formula. And now it's just a matter of doing the computation. 14 minus 10 is 4. -7 minus 8 is a -15. Last step is simplify the slope. The number 4 and 15, numbers 4 and 15 cannot be simplified, but we do have to take a look at the signs too to figure out what our slope's sign is. And this is a positive divided by a negative, meaning the slope is a negative. And so we rewrite that with the negative in front. And we see the slope is a -4 over 15. What do we know about that line? We know it's negative, so it's dropping. How fast is it dropping? Well, it goes down 4 and then over 15. Down 4 and then over 15. So what we know is it's moving faster across than it is down. It's a little steeper than that last one. I think the last one was 1 over 11, but it's still pretty gradual slope there. Okay, and then number 2, same thing. Go back to our formula. y2, 2 minus y1, 1. x2, -17 minus x1, -3. Okay, so I'm glad this one came up because I want you to see this minus is always part of the problem. If your second number is a negative, it gets both. Okay, so the minus comes down, but so does the negative from the number. This tricks people sometimes. They want to just have one of the minus signs. But what do we know about a problem that's minus negative? Okay, if you think back to our integers, which seems like forever ago, minus a negative really means plus positive. Okay, so don't get fooled by that. Last step, do the computation. 2 minus 1 is 1. -17 plus 3 is a -14. Okay, simplify. 1 over 14 can't be brought down, but a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Okay, so that has a slope of -1 over 14, which is really a gradual drop, down 1 over 14. Okay, let's go back to our worksheet. So you should be able to work through most of these. This section of this worksheet, I want you to actually skip, okay? You're going to come back to it in a couple days. These are linear equations. These are actually how we come up with lines. But we're not there yet. for now, I just want to focus strictly on slope of a line. All right, and then here's the answers. I gave you another sheet that is just finding the slope from 2 points, like we were just doing. I want to look for one specifically. Okay, go to this worksheet, and I want you to do number 5. All right, so go ahead and pause your screen and do number 5, and then come back. Okay, so I asked you to do this problem specifically because I wanted you to see what happens here. This is a common mistake as well that can be made on these pages, or on these particular types of problems. So just like we were doing the last ones, you come to this and you're going to think, oh, that's Pythagorean, or I'm sorry, that's slope. There's a formula for that. I know that. I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. Okay, so y2 is 8 minus y1 is a negative 13 over x2, 17 minus x1, which is also 17. Do the computation. 8 minus negative 13, remember that's changes to plus positive. So 8 plus 13 is a 21. And then we have 17 minus 17, which is 0. Okay, so we get 21 over 0. And this confuses people sometimes. A lot of times people want to say 21 divided by 0 is 0. And it's not. It's not 0. You actually can't take 21 of something and divide it into 0 groups. You can't take 21 of something and put it into 0 groups. That means it would have to disappear into thin air, and that's not possible, right? So another thing you can do if this confuses you is put this in your calculator. 21 divided by 0. See what it gives you. You can actually even ask Siri, hey Siri, what's 21 divided by 0? She said the same as 22 divided by 0. Undefined. All right, so that's funny. It's undefined. You can't do it. So this is the part of this equation, the second part, where it says x2 cannot equal x1. Okay, what they're telling you is your x's cannot be the same. If they are, it is called undefined. And it's not a function. It's not something that's real. On a graph, what that would look like. If we think about this, say this is 17, 8, and 17, negative 13. Okay, so on a graph, if your x's are the same, that means you have a straight up and down line. Now, if you think about what we use graphs for, it's to show how things change over time. Okay, is something increasing over time? Is it decreasing over time? Or even is it not doing either and it's just maintaining over time? Those all tell a story about something over time. But an up and down line, what does that mean as far as time is concerned? It really doesn't have any meaning because before the line, there's nothing. After the line is nothing, okay? And then when you're on the line, it's all of that. So this is an undefined line on a graph. If you see an up and down line, if your x's ever repeat, it's not a function. It's an undefined line. On coordinates, you see it when your x's are the same. Your x's cannot be the same. And here's your reminder. It's on the formula sheet. Your x's cannot be the same, okay? So that's something that gets people sometimes. And I wanted to make sure and point that out, okay? All right, let's go back to the worksheets. All right, so this one just gives you lots of practice on the 2 points, and then it gives you the answer so you can check your work. Okay, and the final worksheet, I don't know if you're going to be able to do or not. If you can print this out, that's great. If not, it's going to be tough unless you have some graph paper. But I really like this worksheet because it kind of gives you, it gives you both of the skills that we worked on yesterday and today. So first step, you're going to have to put these coordinates, these points, in the grid. Second step, you're going to have to draw your line. When you draw your line, draw it through the whole graph, okay? That line is never ending. So draw it through the whole graph. Once you have your line, you're going to find the slope from the line, okay? And so it's pretty good practice on everything that we've done so far. Remember, slope, rise over run, rise over run. I will point out that this sheet has 4 graphs and 8 lines. So you're going to do 2 lines for each one of these graphs over here. All right, and then when you get to page 2, you get more practice. Page 3 and 4 are what we were just doing, okay, where it's from 2 points, no graph. So that gives you more practice on slope and putting these points on. So I think you can definitely do that. All right. So just to review, slope is a numerical description of a line using numbers to describe a line, okay? It describes it in 2 ways. It tells where the line's going. It's increasing, decreasing, it's maintaining, or straight up is undefined. It's not doing anything. It's really doesn't make a lot of sense. And the second way is it tells how fast is it moving in that direction. We do that by comparing points on the line and their basically the rise and the run, the distance between them, the relationship between their locations vertically and horizontally. So rise over run. Make a slope triangle, follow or just read your two sections there. Simplify. All right. It is on the formula sheet. The formula to follow to find slope from 2 points. Just focus on just this section and fill it in. I guess one last thing that I will tell you, because I felt like there was something that I was not remembering. Sometimes you'll be asked to find slope and they're going to give you more than 1 point. Okay, so let's say they give you 3 points. Just like if they gave you 3 points on a graph. You just need to pick 2. Doesn't matter which 2. Should be the same thing no matter what once you simplify. You may pick 2 that are closest to each other, but it really doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to start with, let's do these 2. I'm going to follow the formula and work them through. And then I'll do maybe these 2 or these 2 and just show you it doesn't matter. You should get the same thing. All right, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 12 over 8. And then we simplify 12 over 8. What goes into 12 and 8? 4 does. 4 goes into that 3 times and 2 times. So this has a slope of 3 over 2 when we do these 2. Okay. Maybe I want more of a challenge and I pick these 2. Okay. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. 24 minus 3 is 21. 16 minus 2 is 14. Simplify. What goes into 21 and 14? That's 7. 7 goes into 21 3 times. 7 goes into 14 2 times. Same slope. Let's just do the two that I haven't done yet. These two. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That is 9 over 6. What goes into 9 and 6? 3. 3 goes into 9 3 times and 6 2 times. Same step, okay? So they could give it to you like this. Sometimes you might see coordinates listed in could be listed like that. This is called an in-out table. We're going to talk more about this tomorrow. But an x and a y go together. So here's a coordinate, there's a coordinate, there's a coordinate. Just pick two of them. They could have something like this, but going this way as well. Okay, just know an x and a y, x and a y, x and a y. Pick two of those points. So I'm sure there's stuff that will come up that I haven't covered, but I think for the most part, you should have a pretty good understanding of what slope is when somebody asks you to find slope and kind of what it means. I have plenty of slope work, and we're going to continue to use slope on the things that we move towards. So I think the next step is linear equations. So look forward to going over that with you. But for now, practice your worksheets. Send me questions. You know, give me comments. If this totally didn't make sense, let me know, okay? And I will do my best to make it make sense. So thanks, everybody. Hope you're having a good week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.